Hey guys, thanks for showing up for today's recording for this webinar. A lot of you guys have been asking me about how is it possible for anybody to start a business with no skills and stuff like that. And in short, I think the quickest way for me to to explain this and show you exactly the way how it works is just breaking down the whole concept behind the business model, where anybody who is starting a business, even if they don't have skills, can actually use those the opportunities that are available to pick up new skills and then learn those new skills. Once they've learned those new skills, they go and implement those skills into their business, and then translate that into a real business where now they are able to also help others and in the process building a business. And what this business concept is called is the learn, do, teach business model. And it's really very simple. The first phase of the business is you actually go through a boot camp where you learn a new skill, and then once you've learned that new skill, you go and implement it into your business. Once you've finished doing that, then you go and start teaching new people who are actually coming behind you, but teaching them inside your own business. So let's say, for example, if you are a photographer, you've never taken a picture in your life, which is possibly maybe not true in this day and age. There are mobile phones, we take images and stuff like that, but we're talking about building a professional photography business here. And if you've never done anything similar to that, you might be looking at yourself and thinking, probably maybe there is nothing that I can do in the photography industry so that I can build my business, or maybe convert those skills into making or creating a business that can actually put money into your pocket. And that's perfectly normal. But what we're talking about here is actually taking on a new course where you learn that new skill through a bootcamp training course, and once you've done that, then you go and implement it. After implementing it in your own business, and you know how it has helped you, then you also have a basis of reference to say, these are the skills that I learned, and this is the outcome. But I'm in a position now that I could be able to help other people. So there's quite a great deal of people who are actually coming from behind you, who would be more than interested in learning some of the skills that you have. And it's not really rocket science to actually think that it is possible that you can actually find students. So in this training course, what I want to do is just break down the system, the way how the whole thing works, so that you can actually go and look at implementing this in your business, or maybe in whatever activities that you are involved in. So before I get started, I just want to point out that the way how I've laid out this whole training is sort of like starting from from back to front. And the way how this whole thing works is that in the first stage of your whole concept, you want to think about what we call the core product offer that you want to go and offer your audience. And in this particular case, let's say you want to write a book, and in that book you want to help people, or maybe to teach people about mindset or anything, or maybe how to save money using simple methods that you apply either in making good savings, in shopping, and all the other bits and pieces. when you think about that, then you now know that when you go out to go and find what we call an audience, you have at least an understanding that the people that you would be looking to attract into your business, or people that you would be interested in helping in whatever they are doing, they are people who are looking for help in how to make savings and things like that. Now, once you've found that group, which I think is what we call now targeted audience, you want to make sure that you know exactly where those people actually spend most of their times. Are they on Instagram, or are they spending a lot of time on Facebook? Are they spending a lot of time reading online magazines and things like that? If they are spending time online, reading online magazines and things like that, do those magazines actually have their presence on social platforms like Facebook, on YouTube, on Instagram? And if they're there, or if there are special communities or maybe forums where they're hanging out, then you also know how to find those people and how to reach out to them. And once you know how you can reach out to them, you sort of like devise now what we call a content delivery strategy, so that you can actually create content and then take those pieces of content and deliver it exactly where you know that those people when you push your pieces of content, those pieces of content are going to be put in front of them. And in that case, we call that creating targeted content. Once you learn how to create targeted content, you know now that when the people come on your across your pieces of content, then they should be able to interact with your content. But then the question is, once they've interacted with your pieces of content, what else do you want those people to actually do? Do you want them to interact with your pieces of content and then just forget about you? No. What you want is to sort of like now let them understand, or maybe let them to get to know you better, and in the process try to find ways that you can actually provide value to them, because you're already providing value to them, but sort of like build a bridge that you can actually use to build a relationship with them. And for you to be able to do that, you need to create what we call a lead generation strategy. And in this case, we're talking about possibly looking into creating what we call an email list. It could be creating a private forum, like maybe a private group where a Facebook private group where people who come into that private Facebook group, they're coming in simply because they're interested in getting access to certain pieces of content that you're creating. That alone is sort of like now what we call a lead generation strategy that is in place. And once you develop that, you know that when you create content, your content distribution channels could either be a YouTube channel where you're creating videos, and then you are making these videos available to your community in that private group. And the way how this works is that you would create videos that you're actually trying to build your brand, which means you're posting videos on YouTube for free. You're helping people. You are actually educating people so that they can understand certain things that they didn't even think about. Because in many cases, I think what we think we know is not necessarily what we know, and sometimes what we know and think that we know may not be exactly what we know. It takes somebody to help us understand certain things, and then we sort of like see something clicking into our head. All right, if I understood how to do this, then I would be able to do that. And with that in mind, you look at how you are going to deliver your content and which distribution channels are you going to use. Are you going to use Instagram? Are you going to use Facebook? Are you going to use YouTube? Once you've figured that, then you sort of like now create what we call call to actions. So you will notice that in each and every video that I'm creating and posting on YouTube, or if I post a video on Facebook or on Instagram, I'm constantly telling people, or I'm constantly telling you guys that there are links below this video, and in those videos, if you click that link and it take you to that page, it's going to provide you, a comprehensive guide in how to put A and B together, so that you can have the complete solution that you need. What we are trying to do here is pretty much exactly what I'm teaching you guys, that if you are going to build this business model where you start by learning, then doing, and then you branch out and start teaching, is that you have to have that sort of strategy. So number one, you have to have a core product that you are actually going to offer at the end of the day. Number two, you need to have at least an audience in mind. You have to think about who do you want to help. That's the second thing. Then the third thing is you need to think about how are you going to target your audience, and how are you going to to sort of like group together that targeted audience, and where is that targeted audience hanging out. So what I'm trying to say there is that you have to understand that if you create a piece of content, it doesn't matter how cleverly how good it is, or how much time you spend creating that piece of content, if you don't put it in front of people who are interested in interacting with that kind of content, then it's useless. So that's traffic generation. And there's quite a lot of talk about how to generate traffic, or how to do whatever you need to have traffic to towards your pieces of content and stuff like that. The thing is, the subject of traffic is complex when you don't know who you are supposed to be speaking to. But when you know you're supposed to be speaking to either dentists, then when you're creating pieces of content, in this case, which I said, you create targeted, content. You know you're creating these pieces of content for dentists. So you would definitely create content that they are gonna learn one or two things and implement those strategies so that they can solve a problem they have. And the idea for creating lead generation systems, where now you have what we call properly segmented communities, or maybe email sections, because you know that when you create a piece of content, you can actually push it towards people who are interested in that kind of content. For example, this could be somebody who is starting a business, but he's just starting. He hasn't done anything else. They're just getting started. And somebody who has already a business in place, but they're struggling to find eyeballs, to go to their business. So their interest is only to learn how they can drive traffic, how they can grow their business and stuff like that. These two have got two different, expectations that they're expecting from you. But the fact is, you have to serve both of them at the same time. And this could be on weekly basis or maybe on monthly basis. So if you have sort of like a membership website where you are catering for these people are sort of like going through a pipeline. One is in the middle, the other one is at the beginning of the pipeline. Their needs and expectations from you, they are completely different. But your job is to make sure that everybody in the pipeline has exactly what they need, and at that exact time. That's what it's all about. So when you hear me talk about the learn, do, teach business model, it's not necessarily anything complicated or anything new. It's something that I think you have to you have to understand is the one thing that you can actually jump in even when you don't have skills. You go through the boot camp, you learn the new skill, and once you've picked that skill, you go and implement it in your own business. And once you've implemented it in your own business, or maybe in your own situation, then you go and build a business helping other people. That's why we are saying it's a learn, do, and teach business model. All right. Okay. So guys, like I keep saying, the only reason why I'm creating these videos is simply because I'm offering free training where I'm teaching this whole concept in a step by step, and breaking everything down and helping you guys how to connect the dots and everything. So if you're interested in jumping on and learning these things, make sure there are links below this video. Make sure you click a link below this video, and that link is going to take you to a page where you can get access to all the resources that we are providing for this. Okay? Alright guys, cheers.